Afternoon VC. Been a few days or weeks or I don't know, I lose track now. Health-wise, still in and out of the hospital, still trying to get in front of the right specialists, the whole deal there. Dealing with some chronic issues that we're getting closer to getting to the root cause, so we'll get me sorted out here hopefully sooner than later. In the meantime, I'm getting backed up here on records. I need to get these filed, not completely away, but out of the way. So we'll get to it. There's probably 30 records here. There's been a lot of amazing generosity coming my way from the vinyl community. You know, there's a good group of us that look out for each other, that talk to each other, you know, quite often, and make plans and all those types of things. And it's the whole point of this, right? But also, you know, we're here to show records. You know, we're going to show some records. And there was a day at work I wasn't feeling well at all, and I got home and there was a package on the porch, and I wasn't expecting anything that day. I keep a good tabs on what I have out there in mail world, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure what this is going to be. And I pick up the package, and Tom's name is on the address, and I was like, oh wow, very cool. So a VCLT package from Tom Minko, the Polish Mafia. Effects P channel, I'll leave a link. One of the best channels you can go to for jazz in this whole deal. One of the channels I, you know, latched onto early on in my collecting days to get knowledge, to learn about this whole deal. And he's, you know, I haven't met him in person yet. We've tried to make plans here and there, tried to do WFMU, and of course I missed out on the chance to see him this year. But we'll get up at some point, Tom. And but I opened this package, absolutely just floored. And there's a really great note here. And I usually don't read the notes or show them or anything like that, but I think it's going to be cool with these guys to read these notes. And it says, hey brother, I know you're going through some stuff right now, so Chris Cole and I wanted to try to brighten your spirits a bit. Keep your head up, brother, you will get through this. Love you, bro, Chris and Tom. So this package is from Chris Cole, John Coltrane 68 channel, and Tom Minko FXP channel. I'll leave links to both. I just, yeah. So the first record, in this record I don't know, which is great, because I haven't been able to get into everything yet, but I can't wait to get into checking this out. This is the John Gross Quartet. Looks like a private pressing of some variety, and you've got it. This is on a World of Jazz VJ International label. I'll show you the label. And I assume this came from Minko's collection, but I'm not sure. Let me know if it came from Chris's, or I assume this came from Minko's collection. Oh yeah, so I think it's, yeah, the Caution is the name of the album. Really cool label, in great shape. This has to be some dope modal funk madness. Just looking at these guys, and then note the jean shorts from Frank De La Rosa on bass. And it's fantastic. So I'm thinking, you know, mid 70s here. I gotta get into this one still. We see if we can't get this on the table today. John Gross Quartet. Very stoked to check this out. Yeah, 1975. Yeah, VJ International out of LA. I'm not sure where the band is from. They look like California guys. So we'll see what that's about. But then in this package is a record I've been looking for a very long time. It's one that's been championed in the vinyl community for a long time. Dom just got Campo's old copy from Australia, which his was in pristine shape. And I guess the story goes, Chris had been trying to source this record for me for a while, knowing I've been looking for it, and no one saw it at WFMU. And he reached out to Tom because he's real tight with Tom. They've traded records over the years many times, always looking out for each other. That's what we do here in the VC. And so he asked Tom, hey, you know people, maybe you can source this record. And sure enough, he did, and a trade happened. So and Chris got with Tom, and this trade happened. Tom had a few heavy hitter jazz pieces, and then some doubles on some Polish jazz. He's got a ton of the Musa title, Pole jazz, things like that. Really great stuff. And I guess he made this trade happen, and they sent this record to me. And I can't believe this was pretty much a white whale for me. I'd seen a few come up, some in bad condition, some just way overpriced. But here it is, Cleve Posar solo percussion. Now, the look on this man's face is the look when he saw Dude in the jean shorts, just so you know. So there's a link here between the two records. But a gorgeous record. Just it's its own deal. You have to check this out. It's on YouTube to listen to. This has never been reissued and probably won't be. Although lately it seems like the stuff we don't think ever will get reissued will. I guess they'd have to get the rights from his wife, or I don't know. I don't know if they even have the master tapes. That'd be a good question. But yeah, at the moment, no reissue. So very sought after record. I can't, and this is just it sounds incredible. It's a perfect copy. Wow, guys, incredible to send this to me. Extremely thoughtful. It really, I was hurting like hell that day, and that really kind of brought me out of my funk. So I really appreciate it, gentlemen. Moving on, just a ton of records here. Had a few pre-orders come in recently. With new records that come out, almost everything now has a pre-order. And if you want certain variants or what have you, because a lot of the stuff that I'm into, a lot of the rock bands now will put out 3-4 variants. They're limited to 100 copies or 150 copies or 200 copies or whatever, and they do it on a pre-order months in advance. And I'm not with the pressing plants being behind, I guess that's what the bands have to do now. This is a record that I was gonna wait for Scott at Lunchbox to get in, but he's like, dude, distributor ain't. And it had been out for a while, and just he's had issues with distribution this year. Just point blank. At least on stuff I'm looking for, he can't get it in on release day. And then this one was like 3 months. It took him to get it past release day. It took a long fucking time. And when I ordered it directly from the band through Bandcamp, it got shipped from Bainbridge Island, like off the coast of, I guess, somewhere out Seattle, Vancouver way. Jesus Christ. So it finally got here. Train Dodge, the Alley Parade. Great Oklahoma rock band. Been around a long time. A lot of great albums. If you're not familiar, this is on YouTube. A lot of dynamic changes in the songs. Really cool job with this record. Very cool looking insert. There's a band there with a lot of words to read, which I'm not going to. This is a really cool collage or variant, and it sounds great. Some heavy guitars at times, some good melodic stuff at times. Very unique vocalist. Being from Oklahoma, they've always played with a lot of bands in the Midwest, so a lot of the early KC scene. Shiner, The Life and Times, the Alan Epley stuff. They would play with a lot of bands out of St. Louis. I wish I could think of some of the names of the bands, but you know, they play Chicago quite a bit. Um, you know, good friends with probably all the guys in Pelican, bands like that. Um, play Nebraska, around there, you know. But yeah, I haven't seen them ever really come to the East Coast. Um, I'd love to see them, but this is one of Scott from Lunchbox's favorite bands, Train Dodge. This is on Spartan Records from this year. Really great LP. You should check them out if you're into the heavier rock end of things. The next pre-order that came from B Core Records in Barcelona. Hadn't gotten anything from Jordy and them over at B Core in Spain in quite a while. But the new Ramon put out a new release, Postales de Invierno. And so I had to pick it up. It's, you know, Ramon Rodriguez with a lot of guest musicians, some of the best in Spain, from a lot of great bands. This is, let me see if I can get this out of here. There's a bonus art print. I'm not sure if mine's 74 out of 300 or 14 out of 300, but there were only 300 made. And so I need to get that framed. It's got all the words, and then Catalan that he sings with, or in this band. Here's the labels. B Core, always very well pressed records, very great sounding records. Yeah, Santi Garcia produced this with Ramon, so it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Some of the other musicians, his daughter Leia's here on vocals, Victor Garcia on drums, which is Santi's brother, who's a phenomenal drummer. Ricky Lovato on drums on some of this. His other daughter Jazz is on this as well. Ricky from, I believe, Standstill. Yeah, a lot of great musicians collaborated on this record, and it's great singer-songwriter stuff from Barcelona. If you've watched my channel over the years, then you know who this is. I've talked about him a million times. And I get everything that he ever puts out because it's always great. So one night later that week after work, traffic was screwed up going the route I normally go home, and when that happens, the back route takes me past Lunchbox. And when I go past Lunchbox, I can't help but stop in there. It's just what happens. So I knew there was one record I wanted to pick up, so I went in, and when you go in, there's a big wall of new titles on the left. Not necessarily new releases, but just, you know, recent stuff from this year. And he had a couple copies of this record, this had gotten really difficult to find. I think there was only like one copy online for $50, and I think this was released last year, and it's just an EP, and it's sold out quick. It's just because it's the return of Jawbox from DC, and this is the revisionist EP. I had to get this. I was just late to the party. They did a bunch of different color variants with this. Mine, I think, is a clear. There's some Mustangs in there. Really cool. I think that's part of the appeal. Nice inner sleeve of this record, but great band. Hard to define. When you hear Jawbox, you know who you're listening to. They're kind of their own deal. I don't know what you'd say, post-rock, or not post-rock, but I don't know, post-punk. I don't know what I hate giving genre names to stuff. But yeah, Jay Robbins, who I've filmed here in Charlotte at the Milestone, one of his solo gigs. And then he also played in the band Daria from France that night, and they absolutely rocked. There's footage on my channel of both performances. Kim Coletta on bass. She's so good. Yeah. Arctic Rodeo Recordings 2022, Jawbox, the Revisionist EP. Happy to finally have that. Great return to form for Jawbox. Then I saw this on the wall, because on that wall, the top pieces are all rare pieces, used, and this stuck out like a sore thumb just because of the WFMU footage from the guys, and so I grabbed it. It's Pram, and it's their album Dark Island, maybe about their 6th or 7th release, on, let's see, what, Domino Recording Company Limited, 2003, out of the UK. Experimental avant-garde stuff. I have not listened to this. This I actually picked up for Dom, because I saw Pram and I was like, oh yeah, I imagine Dom is going to want this record. So this is going to be going his way when I go up to Rochester for Christmas, and or if I don't make it to Rochester, I'll be sending it out to you, man. But we'll see how I go along health-wise here. But yeah, let's show you this. It was a decent price because the cover's not in the best of shape, but the record's pretty nice. Nice insert. Really cool insert. But yeah, like Brandon said, there's Pram's been falling out of the sky lately. And there's the cool labels. So this is going to Dom's collection. He did not have it. And let's see. So I was kind of stoked on seeing that. I'd never seen any Pram records before in my life. It was the first time I've ever seen one, so I'm happy to grab that for Dom. Then in the used jazz, I found a Miles record that I've just never got around to picking up, and it's an original first pressing promo of Jack Johnson. Not big on the cover. I actually would have preferred if they made like that, the cover or something like that, but yeah, Miles, one of his heroes. Yeah, very cool to find. The sleeve, it's not in the best of shape, so the price reflected that, but and it's just a stamped promo. It's on the Masterworks label, not a white label promo, but just a for demonstration use only, not for sale variety. But the original, all the others, everything else matches up to the OG first press. Looking forward to getting into that. I hadn't picked up any Miles records in, it seems like, years. And then I found this in the new arrivals, Victor Assas Brazil, on the Magic Music label from Brazil. And I picked this up based solely on seeing you had Fender Rhodes in the group on the back, and while being a Brazilian record that I hadn't heard of, and you know, I was like, oh wow, look at, there's a lot of good, you know, electric piano, all that kind of good stuff listed. So I was like, I was like, that'd be a good one for Mr. Chris Cole, and he did not have it. So this is going Chris's way. I'll show you the label on this. Yeah, the Magic Music label. I'd never found anything on this label before. But yeah, he's listened to it online. I guess it's pretty dope. So was stoked to pick that up. I'll need to get that out in the mail here sooner than later. Chris, I'll have to see if you want that sent to the shop or to the primary. And then I found one more record at Lunchbox in the used punk section, which I normally don't find anything because Scott just probably takes all that stuff, all the good stuff home with him. But Descendants, I Don't Want to Grow Up. On SST Records, I think originally in 87, recorded in 85. I've just been picking up whatever Descendants I find now. Really into them lately. Fantastic California punk. Maybe a reissue from a few years ago. So it was cheap, so I grabbed it. Let's see what the labels look like on this. I think that's about the third Descendants record I found lately. Yeah, it's a nice label. And I mean, this is in mint shape, so I don't even think anybody played this one. Or maybe just one spin. So that was what I grabbed at Lunchbox. I think the Saturday that week, Zonkman got up with me. He was going to go to the metal drop that Dylan was having at Noble. And I wasn't feeling good at all that morning. And I guess that was about a week ago. And I got my ass up there. I think I was second in line. I didn't go that early, though. And I was hoping to get the Metallica Master of Puppets that he was going to have on the wall, just because I love that song. I saw the live footage of it from on YouTube, from a more recent performance. So not original lineup, but it was freaking floored me how good those guys are live. So I was like, I need to pick that record up. I don't have any Metallica in the collection, so I went up there and it's $175 because it's a rare club pressing with misspellings. I was like, I don't need a Metallica album to cost me that much. That there's a million copies of it out there. But he had another copy in the same collection that was sealed, and it was like $19. So I grabbed that instead. So I did get the record, just a reissue, and it turns out it's a Walmart exclusive variety. Comes with a download and an insert. This was done really nicely. I've never gone to Walmart to buy a record. I probably never will, but I do have one now, and I played it. This sounds fucking great. They did a great job of this, and it's this orangish reddish deal in a nice, like, super high quality sleeve. The jacket's nice. This is a lot nicer than a lot of reissue companies shit that, they're asking $40 for. This, it's just a Walmart deal. Highly impressed with this. If I see any more Walmart exclusives in bins, I'll probably grab them. Yeah, wow. And everybody knows that record. I don't need to talk about it too much. And then I wasn't feeling well at all, and so I had to bail. I hated leaving. I wanted to have lunch with Zonkman was there with his wife, but I had to get home and rest. I grabbed one more of the record while I was there because he had gotten some stuff in his I call it kind of his catch-all section. There's a lot of international stuff and whatnot in it, but there was some Lebanese stuff, so I grabbed this one, just blind. A Tale of Lebanon and Song and Dance El Anwar Festival on Parlophone out of the UK, so a Tipon Jacket. I think this was released in 1960. I want to say the performance, it's a live performance, might have been late 50s, maybe 1960. It's mostly a lot of vocal from this gentleman here, Mr. Wadi Al-Safi, who's really good. There's a bit more strings in this than I was hoping for. I was hoping it'd be more traditional instruments. There is a flute-like instrument that's in this that's really good. It's this was a performance that kind of toured around at that time and was well received, especially in the Persian countries like Cyprus. On the Voice of the Orient series, really cool. This was in fantastic condition for being as old a record as it is. And I'll show you the label. This plays great. I was very happy about it. Not an everyday listen, but very intriguing. I wish I knew the language so I knew what he was singing, but very heartfelt, kind of intense stuff on the vocal. So that was a cool find. That's all I got out of there and started feeling better that evening. Let's see what we got next. Had Mail call one day down the road from there. I had, what, 2 packages come in, and had a Grail piece arrive, one that I've been looking for a long time. This is one that Secretary of Funk had showed years back. This is as he just told me. This is a banana. This record is bananas. It's wild. It's Napoli Central, Italian jazz funk dopeness. The drums on this is just off the hook. Really cool gatefold. This is on the Recordy label. I have, I think, one other record on this label. The record's kind of jammed in there pretty good, so I'm going to leave it in there. I'd like to show you that Recordy label, but maybe another day. But yeah, that's a badass LP right there. Highly recommend. I'd been looking for a copy to show up in the States for years, and one showed up in Chicago finally, and I grabbed it. It's got a mark from a prior price sticker, which is, record store owners don't put the stickers on the jackets. Put it on this, or put it on anything else. I don't care what you put it on. It just ruins jackets. But anyway, I grabbed it because it was a pretty good price, and it was in the States, and the record's VG plus action. Very happy with that. And then I got another VCLT package. Extremely thoughtful. Teddy out in Kansas City reached out to me and asked me if I had either of these titles. There were 2 titles he asked me about, and he ended up sending me 3 records. And I did not have them, and they're all absolutely fantastic LPs. The first being Charlie Hayden, Closeness, duets with Ornette Coleman, Alice Coltrane, Keith Jarrett, and Paul Motian, or Motian. I'm not sure how they pronounce his name. This is freaking great. I've seen this in bins a bunch of times. I always thought it was maybe a little bit overpriced. I've seen it at Premium Sound here and there over the years, but I never picked it up. Maybe because the cover isn't my favorite, but this is freaking great. And it's on the Horizon label, which Chris Cole and I and a few others were just talking about. So it's gatefold with the jacket tucks in on the inner, which is kind of annoying, but that's the Horizon label. That's how they did it. They wanted to be different or whatever. And there's so many great cheap heat titles on Horizon. This included, really. This is fantastic. And another great one, an ECM I did not have, never seen in a shop. Colin Waldrop, Cloud Dance with John Abercrombie, Dave Holland, and Jack DeJohnette. I think, Bill, you'd love this one. This is tabla and sitar from Colin Waldrop that's just sublime. I love his approach to those instruments. In the lineup, Jack DeJohnette is just phenomenal on the drums. On ECM from 1976, I love the sound of the tabla. It accompanies the sitar beautifully every time, and that's very happy to receive that one from Teddy. And then this one was a surprise, and it just so happened I needed it. Heiner Stadler, Brains on Fire. This is on the Musical Heritage Society Inc. label. He also put it out on his own Labor private press label. But I needed this. I had Volume 2. I didn't have Volume 1. And there's 2 different lineups on side 1 and side 2. On side 2, you've got Reggie Workman on bass, Lenny White drums, Heiner Stadler piano, he's a great pianist, and Tyrone Washington on tenor. Are you kidding me? Side 1, Bar Phillips, Joe Chambers, Joe Farrell, Jimmy Owens, just to name a few. Really good stuff. Some fucking great jazz. Yeah, stoked, so very surprised to receive that. Thanks again, Teddy. Really cool, thoughtful. What do we got next? Won an auction. And got an FMP title I've been looking for. Well, if I see anything Louis Maholo, I'm going to get it. But this is Louis Maholo, Larry Stabbins, and Keith Tippett Turn on the FMP label. I think it's actually an SAJ numbered title. And this is a double LP. Phenomenal free jazz. Louis Maholo is one of my favorite drummers of all time. anything with him, I'm going to pick up. So Keith Tippett, phenomenal pianist. Great trio. Turn on FMP, a rare record. What do we got next? Oh, we got a. Oh, I got to dig in at some point during the last week or so at Premium Sound. And what did we find there? Always look in his International Anthem Recording Company section. He keeps a separate section. And for some reason, this is a record that I had not picked up yet, that I should have. Jeff Parker and the New Breed, Suite for Max Brown. This is phenomenal. Really, really good. Jeff Parker, great guitarist. Yeah, Micaiah McCraven's featured on this on drums. A lot of great collaborators here on this. Really enjoying Jeff's playing on some of the recent titles like the Daniel Villarreal Lados B, and so I picked this up. I'm very happy I did. It's not the, and it's got the Obi, and but it's not the limited press. It's got a nice insert. We'll show you a picture of Mr. Parker. There. It has these nice inserts that they always do. I mean, this label is pretty much the modern day Strata East. These are kind of more plain labels for this release, but yeah, I can see 20, 30 years down the road, people collecting this label, and these being expensive records to get, like Strata East. I could see that, because the music lives up to all the hype, all the crazy hype that they put on these hype stickers. Well, not every time, but because they can get a little overboard in what they say on some of these, but yeah, they usually live up to the billing. This one does. What's it say? Graduated studies of sampling cycles and soulful jazz harmonics mix Monkean miniatures into a fusion swirled dedication. Yeah, that's what it does. Great stuff. And then I grabbed this, Hot Snakes, Jericho Sirens on Sub Pop. They had got back together after a hiatus of some type and put this out. I don't have the early Hot Snakes. I need to get it. I've been meaning to. I don't know why I didn't just grab it that night, but at Lunchbox. But here it is, Jericho Sirens, and this was some kind of, this is what, 2018 on Sub Pop. I don't think it's a limited. Well, I can't remember. There's the label. Unfortunately, the gentleman in this band passed away recently, and I'm just kind of late to the party with this group, but I've dug everything I've heard online, and so yeah, you know, the guitarist passed away out in San Diego. Yeah, I gotta get more Hot Snakes. Good stuff, really good. I don't know how kind of hard to describe. Band, rock. I don't know. They're kind of their own deal too. Another band like that. And then I got some 7 inches. Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, Whatever Happened to My Rock and Roll punk song. This, I have a double 7-inch that was originally released. This is the UK single that's got Rifles Live at Glastonbury as the B-side, which I did not have on the other version of this, the US version. So I grabbed this, and this is freaking killer. And my friend Joe recorded this band in Tremont in the Casbah on this tour. Wow. Yeah. One of my favorite rock bands ever, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. This is what, from 2001. Great LA band. One of the best going. They're still going. they have a female drummer now. She's great. Um, that's the only time I've seen them live. Um, I'd love to see them again. Their Paris show, triple vinyl, is well worth seeking out. But this is a really cool single. You can see it, right? Show you the record. Yeah, it's white label, promo UK. And this was cheap, so I'm very happy. I've spun this a couple times. This is really good live version of Rifles from their first record. And then he's got a ton of soul, 7 inches in, and he put some more out, and this one was in the front by the register, so I grabbed it. Willie Hutch, the Magic of Love on the A side, which is okay, hits the B side that is just straight fire. Walking on My Love from Willie Hutch, super dope cut. There's some orchestration in there, but it's really well done on that cut, more so than the A side. The A side's a little bit watered down. The B side is fucking just off the chain dope. A lot of the new bands now, like on Coal Mine and all those labels, completely ripping this shit off. I mean, just blatant. Those sounds. I mean, they're good bands, but they're just fucking ripping off Willie Hutch and some other guys. I mean, damn. You can completely hear it. And then you've got, I got a David Ruffin promo the other day, so I figured, what the hell, I'll get his older brother, I think his older brother, Jimmy Ruffin, because this was a cool find. It's a white label promo from 1967. Motown, I don't know, some kind of soul series or something. Promo. It's a decent tune. It's not gonna knock your socks off. Farewell is a Lonely Sound, but I thought it was cool. It was on red vinyl from 1967, so we grabbed that. It was cheap. So those were my. I found one other punk single. Is the Queers was a later one. I traded that in yesterday somewhere else. I couldn't get into it. It was like, I don't know, slower Ramones, but way poppier. Yeah, wasn't any good. It was a later '90s Queers 7-inch. So that got traded. Let's see. Keeping it moving. Next up, got a package here. I think this weekend. With album of the year. For me. One of the best heavy records I've heard in a long time. Very diverse record. I've talked about this already in my last video, or one of my recent videos. Access to the Lonely from Rid of Me. Great band out of Philadelphia. Kind of noisy, heavy stuff. On Knife Hits, and I had gotten the cassette, right, the limited on red of the cassette. And that tided me over till I got not only the CD for the car, but also the LP. And the LPs were pressed by Ataria Rosenberg. That's her great bass player in this band and vocalist. She's incredible. Yeah, so this was released on Knife Hits and Den of Wax as a split label. Of course, the Philly Subway, which I've been in. And what's really cool about this is she included postcards with handwritten lyrics from a couple of the songs in pen. Very, very, very cool. Because they didn't press many of these. And there's a cool insert here. And I got the kind of limited red, I don't know what you call it, like a splatter or marbled press. And it sounds great. I mean, she did a hell of a job pressing these. I forget the name of the pressing plant in Philly. So I think it's maybe Soft Wax, pressing. I can't remember. But she's very talented, and you know, think the bass sounds. A lot of the bass sounds in this, she has a sound similar to Colin Waldrop, who they tour with, who's gonna be playing with them on their release. You know, they're gonna do 5 shows, I think. Yeah, I think it's 5 shows. Maybe it's only 3. For the release of this album on the East Coast. I wish I could get to them, but they're all more up towards Philly. Yeah, I'll leave links to some of the music videos from this. The song "Gutted" is one of the best heavy songs I've ever heard. There's some songs, the title track, that sound like Nirvana, which they've covered some Nirvana on cassettes before, but yeah, they've released like 4 or 5 videos already. Really well done videos for songs off this record. So yeah, that's my album of the year. Great heavy stuff. And I'll do my end of year videos, and that'll be at the top. Yeah, and guitar player was in Fight Amp, if you know Fight Amputation from Philly. So moving on, yesterday I got outside. It was beautiful, like 70 degrees, good light breeze, sunny. And I went out to Camp North End, which is like 2 minutes from my work. And they've opened a record store in Camp North End, Hardy Boys Records, who used to be in Mint Hill here. And there's a really cool building, and that looks like they have, I thought it was all theirs, but when you go in, it's a lot smaller than you expect. So it looks like they split it in half with another business on the other side. And there's a great outdoor area to sit in. I put up a small, did my first ever YouTube short video just for shits and giggles yesterday, so that's posted if you want to kind of get a lay of the land there. But it's right next to one of the breweries has a site there, and there's a really nice restaurant, and there's an ice cream place, and you're sitting outside, you're smelling hot dogs, and you know, it's and food cooking, and there's all kinds of different businesses there. It used to be that whole complex. It's massive, absolutely massive. It just goes on and on and on. It used to be where the U.S. Army made missiles and bombs for the wars, way back. And now it's just multi-use. But yeah, it's a big draw here in Charlotte for tourism. But anyway, that record store, I had not met the owner before, and I got to meet that dude, and it was trade-in day, so I brought some trade, and they took my trade, so I had some store credit to work with, and they had I was very impressed. They had a lot of used blues records, which are kind of hard to come by in Charlotte. So that was very cool. A lot of used reggae. They had some jazz, some interesting titles. Nothing gonna blow you away. They did have one on the wall. They had an ESP disc. Why Not for Marion Brown, sealed original, mint 175. I've already got that record, so that was nothing I needed to grab. Which that price is probably right for a mint seal. You don't see mint sealed ESP disc records. And it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. It's like the only real free jazz stuff that was in there. But yeah, there was good stuff. I found some rare blues records. Magic Sam with Shaky Jake, Magic Touch, and this is on a Netherlands label, Black Magic Records. This is live at Silvio's 1968. Killer blues guitarist, Magic Sam, and I've been trying to find his records. They're really hard to get. I've wanted to get some of the ones from Mazzy. It's just never worked out with me being able to get in on it. Black Magic label. I gotta clean this up. Yeah. So very cool to find that. Looking forward to jamming the hell out of this. never seen this label before. So that's the first thing I found in the new arrivals. And I was already stoked. I was like, this right here, finding this, that's made my day. But I continued on, looked through all the used, and sure enough, here's another record on that same label, Fenton Robinson, Blues in Progress. So I was like, yeah, I'll grab that on Black Magic from the Netherlands. Another great blues guitarist. And I've got one other record of his that I really like. So this was another, yeah, same label, looks exactly like the other Black Magic label from the Netherlands. This one was still sealed completely. This has never been played. This is a brand new record, but it had a used record price. So I was very happy to grab that. Then I found this gem on chess, an original first pressing of J.B. Lenore, Natural Man. Yeah, this is a great blues record. I'll show you the chess label, which everybody should know. This is a heavier duty piece of wax here. So yeah, the blues stuff was hitting. And then there was one record on the wall that I did grab in the jazz section, and that was Miles Davis, Get Up With It. This is a first U.S. pressing from, I think, 74, because it's got all the markings here, and then the white marking here. The only thing that's interesting about this record, it's not a white label promo, but it is a demonstration not for use stamped promo. And it is a gatefold. So it's the first gatefold. And we'll show you the promo. It's just stamped demonstration not for sale. So that was, this is probably I don't know if it was a radio station promo or what. It's not in the best of shape. I'd say VG shape, cover and record. But it was 20 some bucks. It was a good price, because this tends to go up near 40 now when I see it, to 50 and up. So for 20 some bucks, I grabbed this, and it's another Miles I didn't have. So it's 2 Miles records lately. I got most everything, but those were 2 that had eluded me for years, and now I have them, both promos. And then I did find a couple of reggae titles. And this one, I did pull the record out and looked at it, and I was like, oh, cool, it's on the, let me pull it out. I was like, oh yeah, it's on the Joe Gibbs label, which I just got something on. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together, so I pulled this record out, and it's Iroy on that label, on the Joe Gibbs label. And I put it back in the sleeve, and it's like, yeah, I'll grab that. And went on my way. And yeah, but this is Heart of a Lion is the title, and I looked at the lineup, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting this. Robbie Shakespeare bass, Leroy Horsemouth on drums, Earl Wire, Willie Lindo on organ and piano, and China on guitar, China Smith, Scientist on drums. Like, this is gonna be sick. So I grabbed this, and the cover is the original UK version on Frontline Records of this LP. The record, however, is a different title from years later. It's not this record. It's not Heart of a Lion. It's African Herbsman with an whole different cover, whole different record. So a lot of the Jamaican records and a lot of the reggae records he had in there look like they belong to a DJ. So this is one of those deals where you had a DJ, probably had both records or what have you, and he just kept that record in the sleeve or accidentally put that record in the sleeve. And I didn't notice it. I've never done that before. I've never bought a record with the wrong record in the sleeve. So that's the first time. It's bound to happen all the amount of records I buy. So now I need to try to source the record for this sleeve and a sleeve for that record. And as it turns out, it's not going to be that easy. And this was like a $6 record. this record I'm finding like cheapest in the U.S. for like 40 bucks, and I got it for 6. Well, at least the cover. So now I got to find the record. So we'll see how that goes. I might return that, take it back to them, since they need to catch that kind of thing when they're putting records out. But I didn't catch it either. So, and then lastly, from Hardy Boys Records, I got this is Prince Buster Record Shack Presents the Original Golden Oldies, Volume 1, and this is a Jamaican original press. And I couldn't leave this behind. I've never found a Prince Buster record in a shop. I've gotten one from one of my local guys here through eBay, but so I grabbed that. This is early ska tunes that Prince Buster's doing here. Really cool stuff. I didn't have anything like this in my reggae collection, any early ska. So this was a cool find. I couldn't leave it behind. I've played some of this. It's good. It's good stuff. It ain't, it's a VG copy at best. But yeah, there's a lot of other volumes. I don't know if I'd pick up all the other volumes, but this was just, if I see them, So this was a really cool find. Yeah, it says bring back Prince Buster and Derek Morgan in love, peace, and happiness. Super dope stuff. Early ska songs. And then lastly, I got a cassette yesterday. This is released on the Numero group from one of my favorite bands of all time who I've filmed before out of Chicago that I've talked about, and it's Pelican. And they put out this cassette single with 2 songs, For Your Entertainment and Gasoline, which I believe they're covers. I can't remember. I haven't listened to this yet. It's on a gray tape. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get out of the thing. So, yeah. That's it. 52 minutes, holy Lord. Yeah, I've been behind when I'm ill and hurting. I get behind on this video business, so I apologize. Hope everybody's doing well and better than I. Peace.